Remember that Sheikh Hasina's aircraft, that C-130J, will be landing in Delhi in just a few minutes from now. So we're going to be standing by with our reporters outside the airport to get you those live pictures in just a bit. While we wait for that, I want to bring in India Today's Indrajit Kundu as well, who's tracking this unfolding story from Kolkata. Indrajit, now it's clear that Sheikh Hasina will be landing in Delhi. Earlier, there had been speculation that she might be landing, in Kolkata or even possibly in Agartala in Tripura, but she will be landing in Delhi. But the pictures unfolding in Dhaka are disturbing to say the least. A total civil meltdown and a total takeover of Sheikh Hasina's prime ministerial residence in Dhaka at this point, Indrajit.
Well, Shiv, unprecedented images emerging out of Dhaka. All of us who are here across the border in West Bengal and have been following the politics of Bangladesh, this is something which is clearly unbelievable, unprecedented visuals, unprecedented scenes. We have been talking to a lot of people over the phone in Bangladesh right now. The situation is very, very chaotic. Bangladesh, in a sense, has now plunged into chaos. There is no governance. Nobody knows who is in charge. The army, of course, the army chief came out and appealed for peace. The army is on the streets of Dhaka, but an interim government will have to be formed. The army chief has announced that. Till such time that is formed, this time gap between the formation and the announcement of an interim government, whoever that may be, and the army chief's press conference, a lot of chaos is unfolding. We are continuously getting reports of arson, of museum, of being put into fire. There is a retribution. There has been this sense that the opposition space was completely, shunted out. So those opposition workers, especially from BNP, Tariq Rahman, Khaleda Zia's eldest son, who is an opposition politician in exile, he is the head of BNP right now. He has just, posted on social media handle X. The Jamaat-e-Islami and the Islami Chhatro Shibir, which has been banned last week, their operators are out on the streets. There is a sense of retribution. There is a sense of fear amongst, Awami League activists at this point in time. So the army will have to clearly put things in order. And you heard the army chief say that, given the situation on the ground, he has appealed to the people to not take law into their own hands. But what we have seen, that image, that iconic image, it's going to be there forever. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the founder of Bangladesh, the father of Bangladesh, his image being vandalized by some people who were among the protesters. Many are asking the question on social media right now, are these the students who are actually leading this protest? Because it was about the quota movement. But the Bangladesh administration, the Awami League government have been continuously stating that the protests have been hijacked by other
The interesting part is, Indro, stay with me, I'll bring Gaurav also in. The army chief of Bangladesh, actually sent out a message saying he appeals for peace, he appeals for calm. It doesn't look like his words are being, accepted by the mobs, because the crowds are actually increasing on the streets of Dhaka. The home of the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, has been ransacked practically, on camera. People are actually filming this kind of civil unrest at the Prime Minister's residence in Dhaka. It doesn't look like the violence is going to ebb for the next few days, Gaurav. There's a real security situation brewing in Dhaka right now.
Shiv, you and I have reported this in Sri Lanka. You and I are now reporting this in Bangladesh. And in Bangladesh, it remains a cause for grave concern. In Sri Lanka, ultimately, the army was able to control the situation after President Rajapaksa left the country. But here, even after Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina leaving the country, the situation does remain grim, and the retribution is a cause for grave concern. We are told that already 6 members of a party have been killed. There are reports of lynching and attempted lynching from an anti-quota or a quota movement, if I may. So from a quota movement to violence on the streets, to targeting of Hindus in some area, to targeting of minorities. All of this does indicate that the situation has fast gone out of control, and the quota issue was anyway addressed by the judiciary in Bangladesh. But the fact that Sheikh Hasina ended up using words like razakars for the protesters, for students and Others joined the street, a protest that was initially restricted to some parts of Bangladesh. Then all over Bangladesh, people started coming out on the streets and then marching towards Dhaka. That the army also realized that it wouldn't be able to contain the situation. And to contain the situation, the only alternative was for Sheikh Hasina to leave the country. Does indicate that the next 24 to 48 hours, if not more, could be extremely tense for Bangladesh.
It's going to be very, very tense. It's a story that is still continuing to play out in a very volatile manner. Also welcoming onto our coverage Lieutenant General Satish Dua, former Chief of the Integrated Defence Staff of the country. He's in his capacity also looked at regional issues as well. General Dua, welcome. Apologies for coming to you late. We had a lot of breaking news coming in. Quickly wanted to get your assessment of this situation right now, sir. Sheikh Hasina, who's been literally hounded out from Bangladesh, is expected to land in Delhi in literally the next few minutes. How do you see all of this playing out, sir? There is a total implosion going on in Dhaka as we speak.
The developments in the past few hours have been very grave. It's heartbreaking to see Mujibur Rahman's statue being vandalized this way. The mobs breaking into the house of the Prime Minister remind you of what happened in Sri Lanka some time ago. The way the statue is being vandalized brings takes your mind to Iraq. What is happening here is a very violent protest, which seems not. Even the army does not seem to be confident of controlling it at the moment, at least. So, like someone else just said on your on this report, that next couple of days are going to be very crucial. But I think what I would like to point out beyond all this is beyond the developments that are going on is that there are major concerns for India. There are already reports about violence against minorities. We have 13 million Hindus, if I'm not wrong, the figure in Bangladesh. We also have to see Jamaat-e-Islami is coming out in full force, and it's going to be a part of the polity as it appears. So there are those concerns that will have very long-term effects on India, and I think we will have to clearly define our policy and what actions we want to take in terms diplomatically, politically, and all other which wise. I think there are reasons for Indian government and all Indians to watch the developments with great concern.
Speaking about from a security perspective, General, India has a large border with Bangladesh.
Yes.
Do you see any kind of a emerging security situation? We do know that the border security force has sounded a red alert on the West Bengal Bangladesh border as well. Overall, security-wise, do you see any kind of a emerging situation there, sir?
As far as security on the border is concerned, our border security force is capable of defending the sovereignty of our borders. So that I would like to reassure everyone. Border security, the sovereignty of borders is not really a concern.
Yes.
What can actually happen is if the next regime or the next dispensation is not friendly towards India, we could slip back to those years where we had several terrorist organizations that were based on the border areas of Bangladesh, and they were operating in our northeastern states. Now, Manipur is already on the boil. So I know Manipur does not share a border with Bangladesh per se. But what I'm trying to say, the northeast by itself, there could be a fillip in the terror groups. So to sum it up, last sentence, I don't think we have concerns, and I'm sure BSF will beef up the security. I don't think our borders face a threat from Bangladesh as of now. But the situation with the terrorist groups could see a change.
Very, very important point. Northeast at large, terrorists who have taken refuge in those border areas, they could actually get a fillip as a result of this unrest in Bangladesh. Gaurav, picking up on a very important point that General Dua just mentioned, which you'd also picked up on, which is the minority Hindu population in Bangladesh, which has for a long time been persecuted anyway. The formation of a new, probably more radical element sort of government in Bangladesh means that there is a real threat to the minority in Bangladesh at this point of time, and that makes it a direct concern for India.
It indeed does, Shiv. In fact, Hindus in Bangladesh have constantly been on target, even when someone as friendly as Sheikh Hasina and someone as strong at that point of time as Sheikh Hasina was in power. But then Hindus were repeatedly targeted. The Jamaat-e-Islami was increasingly spreading its tentacles in areas and targeting Hindus, targeting their places of worship, targeting women. And India had repeatedly raised this with Bangladesh. But now, in case there is a hostile establishment that takes control of Bangladesh, because the meeting that the current army chief, General Waqar Zaman, is having is with all political parties barring the Awami League. So it remains to be seen, who comes to power, what role would organizations like the Jamaat play, what role will Begum Khalida Zia's party and her son and the other leaders play, because that is where Pakistan's ISI becomes much stronger in Bangladesh, because Sheikh Hasina, to a very large extent, had actually checkmated or had checked the growth of Pakistan's ISI, sent back some officials, sent back some others, but now they would once again return. So, yes, the situation could become troublesome for India's border states, infiltration-wise, terrorism-wise, and for Hindus in Bangladesh. It could be a very, very tough road ahead.